and welcome to Talking TSM, the Game House's talk show about TSM's LCS team. I'm Robert Haynes, your host and your guide into the world of TSM's LCS team, and I am here recording more videos because that's what you guys want, I think, hopefully. This is going to come out on Thursday. If any news or anything happens before then, I apologize. I won't be able to get it. I'm recording this actually on a Monday after the other show is set to release here shortly. So I do apologize for the delays and some of the other things I'm having to do right now. This was not the way I intended, obviously, to do this, but me being out of town makes it a little tough. So just bear with me here, and I will just greatly appreciate it. So, this is our preview show of week two. So, let's hop into it. You know, we were obviously disappointed with last split, and this split we come out and we win one of our first two games, and we looked competitive in all three, I would say, to the point of where I think there's a world where 2-1 is a lot more, I think, reflective of what this team is, which would then put them, depending on if they were to beat 100 Thieves or CLG instead, in a tie for third or fourth. Getting the win over Immortals was just massive, humongous. I don't know how many other words I could say. I believe we're 3-0 now on the year against Immortals, which is pretty awesome considering we only have 6 wins this year. So we're going to have to beat some other teams, but you know, I don't really care. A win is a win, and we needed one badly. So we are now, done with Immortals for now, and we'll see them again here in about 4 or 5 weeks, something like that. So very excited about that. But we move on to week 2, where the competition gets tougher in one game and probably, I would argue, easier in the next one, or at least equal to what I would say Immortals are potentially, which is a good thing. I have, this TL game, which is game 1, it's going to be on Friday. We get the 6:30 slot after having our first 3 games all be at the 7:30 slot, which was very interesting. How would I put this? I am really curious about Team Liquid because they came out and stomped, no doubt. They had the perfect game against Immortals in week 1. Well, the essentially perfect game in week 1. Then they went out and put a whooping on Team Dignitas, arguably the worst team in the league. And then they also did it to Cloud9 when they were missing their entire bot lane. Not that it was just the bot lane that lost them that game, but you get my point. Well, maybe you don't, actually. What I'm trying to say is while TL looked amazing, no doubt, did they really face anybody who is top 5? No. No, they did not. Immortals and Dignitas are arguably the worst 2 teams in the league. And Cloud9, that iteration of Cloud9 before Berserker and Zven step in, is they are arguably the third worst team, or in that range. So if they faced, again, arguably, the 3 worst teams and stomped them, how good are they actually? Now, I'm not going to take away from Bjergsen. I'm not going to take away from, the TL players and coaching staff overall. But I do think that is worth mentioning. They have looked awesome. They have put teams that are worse than them in their place. Does that mean they are unbeatable, though? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I think, I think they're definitely beatable. By us, I don't really know, because when I look at this game, and you guys know what I like to do, I love to go, game by game, or position by position, and see what they have advantages over us in. Let's make this real quick here. Bwipo is better than Huni, even especially in Huni's form that he's in currently. I would at best call Santorin equal. I think that Spica's better, but I think equal is safer right now until we see a little more out of Spica, because he seemingly is back in MVP type form. Bjergsen is better than Maple currently, no doubt. I do think that they can be equal, but Maple is obviously not there, and he may never be there when he was in the LCS. But in terms of their full careers, they're very similar type players. Just one has played in arguably one of the easier leagues, and the other one in harder ones. And that's not to take anything away from Bjergsen again. Like, that's why I said him specifically, because I think Bjergsen is amazing. And in that LeBlanc game, everybody's like, why do people pick LeBlanc? She doesn't look that great. And then Bjergsen's like, I'm just going to go get 10 kills on her. So, yeah, against Cloud9 specifically. So, boy, oh boy, yeah, he looked good. And then the bot lane duo, I believe, are better than both of ours no matter what, in any world. Ever. Probably. So, yeah, guys, I mean, I am maybe giving us a toss-up in mid lane on a really good day for Maple and a pretty average day for Bjergsen. And if I'm being real nice to us, I'm giving us the advantage with Spica. But here's the reality. We are playing in a meta that suits Team Liquid more than probably any other team. They love to scale. They love to team fight. They also are generally better than almost everybody else in their lanes. Thus, they're going to have advantages unless put at a major disadvantage in the draft. What this means for us is that if we're going to beat Team Liquid, right? If we're going to be the team to theoretically expose their very early slate of games in week 1, we're going to have to play the cleanest game of League of Legends that TSM has probably played since their run to a championship in 2020. The last 2 seasons, a lot of games there have been very few games that we could define as really clean, start to finish, solid games all around, where maybe mistakes aren't being made. It's just, better team fights, a little bit better setups here and there, right? Us losing the game of inches instead of us losing the game of miles. Team Liquid, if we want to compare to see how good we are, really and truly, right? Team Liquid are, again, arguably the best team in the league right now. I think them and Evil Geniuses are very, very clearly in a class of their own right now. If we can make this game close, or if we can win this game, then we're back in the conversation much earlier than I think anybody would expect. Now, I'm hoping the second time around that we face Team Liquid will be a little bit more, I'll be a little more confident in our ability to fight them head to head. In this game, I worry because I don't really know that I've loved our drafting outside of, I think game 3 was okay, other than letting Huni take the Vladimir, which again, in a vacuum worked, but overall he had a weird weekend because it wasn't bad. It just wasn't good either. Almost to the point of where if Soul just starts popping off, do they make that change mid-season? I hope not. I want to see Huni at his best because I think he deserves that, and he deserves the opportunity to really finish out his time here, I think, in a pretty awesome manner. But, TL are going to be smart. They are going to come out, and they're going to realize that we've been using Spica to really win games so far. I mean, or be in some of these games. Our laning outside of game 3 Maple's been solid. Hooney's been average. In the bot lane, got their butts handed to them 2 games in a row until that third game. Now, Mia, as I've talked about, has been a nice, pleasant surprise for me. I felt like Mia has been in good positions pretty often and has been able to help the team in the ways that they need him to. But this time he's going up against Core JJ, who rarely loses the mechanics battle and very often wins the major map movements and major objectives battles. So to me, Team Liquid are going to come out trying to shut down Spica, right? Like, I doubt we are going to see a Viego. I really doubt we'll probably see a Lee Sin, and I really also doubt that we're going to see a Wukong, because I think we're going to have to ban one of those two, depending on which side that we are on. And if not, then to get him a better jungler, we may have to give up something like a Senna or a Zeri. I don't know which patch week 2 is going to be on. I believe it's going to be the same patch, but I feel like our path to victory is very defined, which is good, right? Pick 2 winning lanes and allow Spica to carry along with that carry through them, right? So it's like a Spica and Maple, or a Spica and tactical kind of a thing. And it has worked to this point. Honestly, I mean, I really think that this strategy of getting Spica ahead and allowing him to get kills, and he's just been so proactive and in the lane so often, you could see what this team can be. But I believe that TL are going to be prepared for that. I think that they are going to look towards Spica and Maple specifically, and they're going to try to win in the jungle mid matchup while picking a lane that will probably be too strong for Tactical to do anything about, thus giving them dragon control and bot side control. And that's why I actually think that this is the time for Spica and Huni to turn it on. I think if TL are going to lose and we are going to win, they have already stated that Bwipo is going to be the weak side player for this split, which I think is good for them. They need that. So why not take advantage of that? Why not bait them into picking a Gnar or something relatively easy to dive, and like a early game Gangplank or something like that too, and give Spica and Huni a really nice 2v2 and give Maple something where he can get around the map. A Galio again, potentially. If that's going to be the case, though, we really need Tactical to actually, be that late game carry. Or maybe a Twisted Fate. As much as I don't love Twisted Fate right now, I think that could work pretty well. I don't know. There are options. Like, something that I'd really like to see, which I know it's not going to be necessarily a winning lane, but it would be one where if TSM could get a really nice, like if Spica could get a nice gank off, I would love to see like a Huni Kale where he's getting pushed in, right? It's looking bad. And then Spica and Maple pay Bwipo a nice little visit for his overextension and, get the Kale a kill, a little bit of a CS lead, let him hit 6, and then bada bing, bada boom, you just kind of let him farm for the rest of the game and you just win. Now, there are better champions for the top lane, sure, but Kale seems to be a really safe, strong pick right now that most people aren't punishing in the early game in any way. So, I'm not saying that TSM sack the early game, because you could even essentially do the Lucian Nami bot lane as well to give you, maybe a Drake or two, allow for Spica to put his attention to the top lane, other than when he needs to come down and help get Drakes. And I feel like there's a way where you could split the map up in a pretty nice way to allow for Huni to come on and carry. Now, Jace is also very viable, it would seem, or something like a Fiora even. I'd have to check. I didn't check before this, but I'd have to check to see if he has played Fiora often in his career. I know he's played her, but just I don't know how much. But she seems to be pretty safe in terms of blind picks for most people. So I would just like, I would like to see them pick a strong side bot side or pick a strong side top side and allow mid to do a little bit more of the supporting role, a little bit more of the roaming role to go around. Because it's not that I'm necessarily afraid of Bjergsen, and I think Maple could go toe-to-toe with him, but I think it's got to be a little later in the split. And Bwipo is known to int on occasions. He is known to overextend and to get a little greedy at times. And, you know, if TL are going to play strong side bot side, which I guess takes away my Lucian pick, but that's fine. You know, like the Lucian Nami may not work as well there, which is fine. Then I think we play through Huni. I think we give him his opportunity to really carry the game, and I think that we pick strong team fight for later in the game, but allow the top side to maybe be a little bit more early. You know, if the Lee Sin goes through, like, you know, getting Lee Sin up there with, you know, I guess a Jace or something like that, like that seems pretty good to me. I don't know. And then you let the bot lane scale with, you know, something like Senna and I don't know, Swain would be cool, something like that. I don't know. There's so many great champions I'd like to see us play. I feel like we really held back a little bit outside of the Viego, and I didn't love that. The Lucian Nami was cool too, you know, and even the Ezreal. I think I didn't like the way Tactical played him, but I think the mindset behind it was fine. Yeah, I just really think that if we're going to beat Team Liquid, it has to be through the top lane, because I'm racking my brain right now, and I just don't see another win con that would allow us to keep even and get a nice little bit of a lead potentially. You know, turn some heralds into some tower plates up in the top lane, get Huni out of lane so he can start roaming around and impacting the rest of the map. I'm just throwing this out there because, guys, in all reality, Team Liquid have been a group of 5 now for 4 or 5 months now. And they have all veteran players who have either played with each other or are easily able to adapt in with everybody else. And they're very confident in their own skills. And this meta, again, just fits them perfectly. So I think you need to throw a curveball at them. And you know, everybody would think that signing Maple and bringing Mia in, who's a little bit more of a lane dominant, at least in Champions queue, apparently, support, they might think we'll focus more of the bottom of the map, especially because that's what helped us win against Immortals. I say we flip that script on its head. I think we change it around, we attack Bwipo, and we make them react. I think if we could do that, I think we can at least make it a pretty close game. But I think if we play into their strengths, I just don't know that we win there. So my prediction right now, though, is that we are going to lose to Team Liquid this time. I do think that as long as this team continues to get better, it's going to look very, very, very different when we play them in about a month. Well, after this first game. So keep that in mind. Be watching for it. We headed to the Saturday game, though. Or the Sunday game. TSM versus Golden Guardians. Now, this is a game where I would do the exact opposite. I would play through mid or through bot lane and try to get your lead there. Pride Stalker is not in a meta that is as conducive for him as the previous one. While he has looked better, I still don't... he's fine. I think Licorice and Huni are about the same level. Maybe Huni a little lower than Licorice in terms of lane. Regardless of what everybody thinks, go back and look at Licorice's lane stats from the last few years. He's arguably one of the best laning top laners, at least top 3 potentially, in the LCS. It's when team fighting gets happening and when teams put a lot of focus on him that he seems to struggle. But when it's in the 1v1 or even the 1v2s, he's normally pretty solid. Where they struggle, though, is in the jungle and in the bot lane. Now, a Blaze Olive is, I think, a pretty underrated mid laner as well, but I do believe that Maple is better than he is. And I believe that our bot lane is better than both of theirs. Ole looked pretty solid, like back almost to his old form last split in most of the games. But, I don't really care about that as much as I think that the abilities of Tactical are just so much greater than Stixxay's right now in their current forms that I wouldn't be surprised to see us just, again, play a really strong bot lane, something like a Jinx Lulu even, which can make up for Jinx's lack of early game and just really scale her into the late game. I wouldn't be against that. I think Kai'Sa has been played to pretty decent effect over in other regions like the LEC. We'll have to see more as the meta develops, but I don't want to see us playing in Ezreal, something that you're going to really give up the push early because and even into the middle portions of the laning phase, because I want to see Speak on the bot lane all the time. I want to see him on these Jarvans, Wukongs, Lee Sins, Viegos, these AD bruisers that can, and even semi-assassins in terms of Viego, that can go down there and have an impact. If nothing else, help them get this lane pushed in and grab these dragons. So I think dragon stacking is a really easy way to take Golden Guardians out of the game relatively early, and their bot lane has looked okay, but I think that even when ours has looked bad, I think it's still probably better than theirs. And I do believe that Maple is able to overpower a Blaze Olive. I think, he could bring out the Azir again. He could bring out the Corki. In this game, I really probably wouldn't want to see a Galio or a TF, to be honest with you. I just don't think that would be worth it. But I think you give him something a little bit more lane dominant, even in a Kali. Something like that, I think would be great, where he can dip in and out, be able to, I don't know, make some plays. Even a LeBlanc, while not as strong, I think she's pretty solid as long as you don't pick her into a really beefy team. And in this game, I'd like to see something like a Norn that can minimize whatever lane advantages that Licorice gets and would allow us to, I think, make a really nice, push to have some really good security in the late game, have a little bit of a more beefy boy, and, I don't know, I think even bringing out a Seraphine in the bot lane, I think could be huge, right? Something that does offer that shielding that's better than a Karma, especially into the later portions of the game. So I'm pretty bullish on our lineup against Golden Guardians. I think that there's a pretty clear path to victory in my mind. Play through the bot lane, play through mid, just bot side of the map in general, and allow yourself to dragon stack early. Try to minimize the damage of the Rift Heralds that you give up. I would prefer we don't fight the first one at all. I would actually just prefer we grab dragons and push in the bot lane, personally. But I know people value it a lot, especially the first one, and that's fine, but you can get 3 plates in the bottom for tactical and, feign fighting it, maybe even get a plate or 2 in the mid lane, and you're kind of coming out even at that point, and you're still able to keep up the tempo that you're needing when you're getting out onto the lane. So, man, I feel like I'm seeing these games right now with a lot of clarity. I'm not going to lie to you. It feels... You guys can tell me. Let me know in the comment section below if I'm just absolutely off my rocker with the way I'm seeing our team playing into this. But I really like what we're seeing. I just feel like the team is just so much less muddled. I really truly feel right now that Maple is a better version of Power of Evil from last year. I feel like Mia is currently, again, I still think Shenyi will be better than Mia could probably ever hope to be, but right now, currently, what we need is Mia, and I think he's playing fine in the bot lane. I don't know. I haven't really felt confident in their laning, even in the Lucian Nami. It didn't feel like a dramatic difference. They were just really stomping the lane. I mean, they had a nice game and their pressure was there, but I feel like Mia out on the map has been a lot stronger, which, can at times make it tough to play through the bot lane. But, give them a little more time and a little bit more reps. And I think we might be surprised with what this bot lane could do as long as Tactical is positioning himself well. So I think even Tristana can be played right now into things like the Ezreal. So maybe we do finally get to see a Tristana game out of Tactical, something I don't think we've seen since his time on TSM, in the last split in 3 games. So I am definitely predicting a win here for us over Golden Guardians. I just think we're a better team than them from top to bottom. I think, again, clear win cons. Hell, you could even play up towards Huni and just make Licorice relatively irrelevant. Not the player from the LEC, but regardless, I like these teams. I really do, and I really like where we are at. So hopefully we will get to that point this weekend. I know that I will unfortunately be watching the games while out and about and doing some things, except for the Sunday games. I will be flying on a plane for part of those. So, my hope is that I'll get to at least watch the Saturday game before any shenanigans while I'm in Texas for the next few days. By the time this releases, I will have already gotten to Texas. So, I look forward to another good weekend. I will admit, if we go 0-2, I'm going to be pretty nervous. I'll come back, and that Monday show will be a lot of me going, what is going wrong here? There will be fingers pointed, and there will be things that I think we need to discuss. If we pull off the 2-0, and we get to 3-2, then I think our prospects of pushing for a world spot looks better. Not great, but better. I still would be really interested to see how this team will compare in a best of 5, but we really need to focus on just getting at least 1 win a week for right now. It's kind of, our schedule's kind of set up perfectly for that. If we could pull off a 2-0 week sometime in these first 9 games, then sometime in these next 3 weeks, that would be great. If we could go, what would that end up being? So 1-2, 2-4, 3-5, and then 5-5. Yeah, right. Am I missing anything? Well, no, we're supposed to have 9 games. Okay, I'm an idiot. 1-2. No, sorry, it was 3-4, then 5-4. If we can get to 5-4, sorry guys, tired. Been doing a lot today. If we can get to 5-4, then I think we are in a really, really, really good position. Through this first half of the split, because I realistically think we could go 6-3 and 11-7, and I think that would be enough to get us up to a top 4 spot, guaranteed double elimination bracket. Really, we only need to be top 6, which I think 9 wins would get us to, but 10 or 11 wins would be really, really nice. So it all starts this weekend. If we can pull off our 2-0 that we need. That I think we need at some point here in these first 9, that would be massive this weekend. It's going to be against one really tough team and one that I think is very beatable. So it's all about those. It's all about those wins losses right now, fam. I don't care how bad the losses look as long as the wins are good enough, and I don't care how bad or good the wins look. We need to get, again, we're on a counter right now. I think I said this in the last episode. We need a minimum of, I think, 6 or 7 wins to make playoffs. That's key number 1. All right, and we have gotten 1 win on our way to that. If we can find a way to go, what would that be? That would be 10-5, 10-6, the rest of the way. That would be huge. If not, fine. Even if we go 8-8 over the rest of it. Or 8-7, over the rest of it. That's great too. Even 7-8, an 8-10 record is not what we would like, but is definitely possible. I think that right now, I genuinely believe that we are better than at least 5 teams, and you know, as long as we can pull off the wins over them, I'll just say them right now. I think we're better than Golden Guardians. That's 1 win. I think Dignitas 2 wins. Not Cloud9. FlyQuest 3 wins. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Yeah. So then, that would get us to 4-5. And then if we were to beat those same teams and Immortals again, then I guess we're not better than 5 teams, but better than 4 teams. That gets us to 8-10. Okay, so that's the world we're looking at. If we can steal a win against 100 Thieves or an off day for an EG or a TL, that's going to be wonders for our record trying to head into these playoffs. So yeah, let's keep it up. I'm as you guys can probably tell, I'm feeling a lot better now that we got our 1 win out of the way against Immortals this weekend. Starting 0-3 would have been, I think, a lot more devastating than you guys would have realized. Like even Cloud9, as good as I think they're going to have quite a hole to build, to dig themselves out of with an 0-3 weekend. So yeah, there it is. There it is. All right. Well, with that, thank you for listening and for watching. If you like this show, please take a second to like, subscribe, and comment if you're watching on our YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon. This is show number 4 out of 4 for the week. So thank you for those of you who've been watching all of them. Please let me know in the comment section how you guys feel about it. All these different shows. Are they hitting your League of Legends needs? If not, then let me know what else we might be able to cook up. I want to continue to make this the number 1 TSM LCS podcast out there. Thank you for supporting and allowing that to happen. Please leave a review if you feel so inclined. You can also hit me up on Twitter at TGHRobertHaynes, or you can hit up the Game House and see all the awesome content that's coming out at TGH Esports. You can also head to the Game House and just make it a part of your daily routine. Check it out and see all the different kinds of, League of Legends, Valorant, Teamfight Tactics, Pokemon content that we got coming out over there. With that, thank you for tuning in. This show comes out every Monday and Thursday and is exclusively for your TSM ear holes. I'm Robert Haynes, and this has been Talking TSM. I'll see you once I get back from Texas.